Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic Live, this Habs post-game show here on Langer at the Mic Live. And the Montreal Canadiens, they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs by a final score of 4-2 at the Bell Center. Their second win in 6 games against the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. No soup for you, Leaf fans, at least not tonight. Jack Campbell's win streak ends at 11 games. And that was just, it was night. Like, this is how the Habs can be. This is how the Habs can win the playoffs. Like, when the Habs are at their best, this is how they win games. By playing balanced, having balanced performance across their four groups, balanced offense, good on the forecheck. Okay, maybe they'll get caught in their zone a couple of times, but not giving up too many back-breaking scoring chances. And the Leafs, they did get a couple of good chances, but Jake Allen was very solid tonight. Jake Allen, on I think it was 25 shots, he made 23 saves. Yep, 23 saves on 25 shots. And Jack Campbell was very close to extending his record because he also played really, really well. 21 saves on 24 shots, and he had a couple of highlight reel ones. I don't know if the one that Josh Anderson had on him in the first period or the third period was saved by Campbell or if it hit the post. But yeah, like either way, man, what a game by just what a game in general, and a huge bounce back performance by the Canadiens compared to the last 3 losses in a row, Leafs, Jets, and Jets, especially getting blown out 5-0 by the Jets at home. And honestly, in this game, there were the forward lines, by the way, they worked. The last 3 games I found the forward lines, they didn't gel well together. Stahl, Drouin, and I think it was Toffoli or Anderson just didn't work out well. Just wasn't good. But tonight, Dominique Ducharme mixed up the lines a little bit, and I saw 2 really good forward lines tonight. One, awesome, unreal forward line tonight. The Danault, Tatar, not Gallagher, I'm so used to saying that. Danault, Byron, and Tatar line was outstanding tonight. Absolutely outstanding tonight in playing against Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and Zach Hyman for most of the game. And yeah, just they played well. Tatar obviously had the 2 goals, the lucky bounce early, which was Matthews losing his battle behind the net to both Danault and Gallagher. Sorry, I keep saying Gallagher. Danault and Tatar, or actually, was it Byron behind the net? Anyway, Matthews lost his battle in front. It was Tatar and Danault, both behind the net. And surely enough, Alex Galchenyuk, of all people, kicks it right to Tomas Tatar's wheelhouse. Jack Campbell obviously was expecting that. So look, Alex Galchenyuk got a nice assist on that to Tomas Tatar, and that made it 1-0 early. And I think that was just a huge goal for the Montreal Canadiens, just to get that first goal out of the way, because as we all know, when the Habs, when they surrender the first goal, they struggle to win. I believe they're still at 2 wins. 2 wins when surrendering the first goal, and 2 wins when trailing after 2 periods on the season. The Canadiens tonight, they scored the first goal, and they led after 2 periods. And just Tomas Tatar, 1 minute 17 seconds into the hockey game, gives the Habs that big first goal. And then also Nick Suzuki on the power play. I feel like both waves on the power play, the two power plays the Canadiens had tonight, both waves were pretty good. As we all know, the Kotkaniemi also played really, really well. That was the second line, by the way, that played really, really well tonight for the Canadiens. The Kotkaniemi, Anderson, and Kotkaniemi, Anderson, not Toffoli. Who was it again? It was look, I'm blanking on it, but yeah, it was Drouin. Yeah, so I think that really got Drouin. He wasn't bad in this game, but like that penalty took in the third period wasn't. Anyway, look, we digress to the power play though. I'll get back to that in a little bit. But the power play, both waves tonight. The Kotkaniemi, Tatar, Petrie, Perry, and Anderson wave, they were good. Like, they didn't get the goal, but they set up really well in their first chance. And then what a pass by Drouin, by the way. Suzuki, it was the same play that he scored on basically the same goal that he's scored multiple times on already. I think it was like his last 3 or 4 goals were scored the exact same way by Tomas Tatar. And by the way, as usual, leave a comment on what you think your favorite part of tonight's win was. Just anytime you beat the Leafs, it felt weird tonight playing the Leafs on a Monday night. I can't remember the last time the Habs played the Leafs on a Monday, but anytime you beat the Leafs is a good time. So anyway, back to the power play. Let's try to stay in a straight line here. So Suzuki had scored multiple goals like that in a row from that same spot. And his first shot missed, but it was a great job by Drouin, quickly recuperating the puck, like just blindly, but smartly blindly passing the puck back to the point to Weber, who fed across to Suzuki. And And one thing I've been saying with the Canadiens forwards and their biggest issue is that they take too much time to shoot the puck. Like they'll hold the weight, drag, and then get stick checked or or give the goalie enough time to read the shot off the stick, which is something that Cole Caulfield does the opposite of. Quick release, quick shot, goalie doesn't expect it. But in this instance, Suzuki on the power play played it perfectly well by outwitting Morgan Rielly to just leave the shooting lane a little bit. But I think Rielly was still screening Jack Campbell a little bit. And then Suzuki with a really nice shot, buried it on Jack Campbell to give the Habs now a 2-0 lead. Heck of a first period by the Montreal Canadiens. They outshot the Leafs 11-3 in that first period. Phenomenal job by the Habs in that first. And but then the second period happened. The second period was not as fun, as we know. By the way, there's one little instance. Weber, I'll talk about that in a bit. We'll get to the second period. I'll come back to that. It's not as important. But anyway, second period, not as good for the Canadiens. It was a little even to start, but they got stuck in their zone quite often in that period. And up until finally they had Marner and Matthews and that Hyman, Rielly, whatever combination, like the unreal combination for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it was Suzuki. It was against Suzuki, Evans, and Toffoli, who weren't as effective as a line tonight. I didn't like that line as much tonight. Suzuki got the goal on the power play, sure, but at 5-on-5, didn't love that line as much. Now, Suzuki and Kulak were both, like Suzuki just completely lost his position, lost his battle, lost the race to the front of the net, and he has to stay with Matthews on that play. Like, he has to stay with Matthews. Marner made a heck of a pass to find Matthews, who made a really nice play to tip it in, his 32nd goal of the season for Austin Matthews. But Suzuki has to stay with him there. And also Brett Kulak on the play was a little bit dumbfounded, just was caught watching Marner when he could have been watching Matthews because Weber had, I think it was Hyman in front. So Kulak should have also been more responsible at playing on Matthews. But anyway, Matthews, like what he's been doing all season, found a soft spot in the D zone, buried it for his 32nd, 2-1. Now, this is where also the Leafs had a power play. The Habs PK tonight, they held the Leafs 0-2 on the power play. But that first PK by the Habs was anxiety-inducing because I found they allowed too many easy passing lanes for the Leafs, and they also weren't great in D-zone coverage. Like, they weren't always – I found they left a couple of guys open, but at least the Leafs weren't able to react fast enough to it. And the Habs survived the first penalty kill. But shortly after that, they get stuck on the ice with Eric Stahl, Josh Anderson, Brett Kulak, and Jeff Petrie, and I think it was, I have my notes here, it was Perry, or Romanov, Petrie, Perry, Anderson, Stahl, all get stuck on the ice, and Eric Stahl makes a horrible play off the wall, like a horrible backhand, low risk, or just not really smart play off the boards, which is disappointing from a veteran like Eric Stahl. And then naturally, I think it was Justin Hall who held it in, or it was Brody that kept it in. And he put it behind the net. And this is where, as Pierre Houd likes to say, la mêlée éclate devant le filet. Just all hell broke loose in front of the net. And that was the worst part of the game defensively by the Canadiens. The worst 10, 15 seconds by the Canadiens defensively. Okay, I guess you could say the other bad part was the Matthews goal. But in this situation here, that was the worst sequence of trying to clear the front of the net that I've ever seen my entire life, because you had all 5 Montreal Canadiens just on their butts, or just not covering sticks, not covering bodies, just panicking, trying to swat at whatever they could until the puck finally found its way to Tavares' backhand, who put a nice backhand shot through a screen, through Petrie screening Jake Allen of all things, of course. And then that was tied at 2. That was tied at 2. That tied it at 2. Excuse me. 2-2 hockey game at that point. Now, but then, after that, Brett Kulak made up for his mistake early in the second period, and had a heck of a shot block. I think it was on Marner. Yeah, Kulak, heck of a shot block. I think it was on Marner. Sprung Josh Anderson loose. And here's the thing, though. Kulak, what he did really, really well, not only did he block the shot, which ended up being a pass to Josh Anderson, but he joined the rush, forced the Leafs defenseman, I forget who it was, but he forced the defenseman to play it like a 2-on-1 and not a 1-on-1. And then Josh Anderson made the nice play to shoot, glove side on Jack Campbell. I think he might have made Jack Campbell think that he was passing it a little bit, because Jack Campbell, that's usually how goalies will get beat on the short side on a 2-on-1. If they're thinking a little bit about the pass and not playing the shot completely, well, that's how they'll get beat by a 2-on-1 type of play like that. So that's, I think, what happened. Josh Anderson made it maybe look like he was passing it, or Jack Campbell at least thought that Anderson was going to pass it. Anderson made the right decision to shoot. Nice goal for Josh Anderson. His, what is that on the season? 15th of the season. So Josh Anderson, Tyler Toffoli leading the way in goals for the Canadiens on the year. And then the third period, honestly, I found was pretty evenly matched. But what stood out to me, again, was just the play by Danault, Tatar, and Byron. I tweeted this at the beginning of the third period. Again, give me a follow at Mike Langer, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That the plan for the Habs in the third period should be simple. Just put the Danault's line on the Matthews line and put Kotkaniemi's line on the Tavares line. Both lines shut them down really, really well. And also, another thing. So there's a couple of instances where the Matthews line had Danault and Tatar and Byron and at times Toffoli and the D-men trapped in the zone a little bit. But the big difference when the Danault line was on the ice, at least tonight, was that they never allowed the Leafs to get any good looks or any grade A scoring chances. They kept the battles to the outside. Anytime that they were near the blue line, they made sure the puck got out. They were really positionally sound, really in perfect position, complementing each other, supporting each other well. Again, talk about Danault, Tatar, and Byron. And they just played a fantastic, phenomenal game defensively and offensively because Tatar got the 2 goals. And yeah, like I said, again, Allen was really, really good in this game. Made a couple of instances where Allen had to make bang, bang saves down low. A couple of times on Marner in the third period. There's another instance where it was, I want to say, forget the second period. It was really not busy in the first, but the third period had to make a couple of really big saves. Like I said, Jack Campbell had to as well. And then Jonathan Drouin happened. Jonathan Drouin, who to this point I was saying, you know what? Wasn't playing a terrible game. Drouin wasn't playing a terrible game to this point. Drouin finished with 14 minutes, 50 seconds of ice time, but that penalty in the third period can't happen. That just turning away, leaving a stick in the feet of Wayne Simmons, or I think it was Wayne Simmons skating away from him. That can't happen. You gotta either converge on the puck, take the puck away, or get your stick out of there and get your butt back on the back check. Because that you cannot take that penalty. And the Habs, they played that PK much, much better than the first time around. Probably because Danault was there. Probably because Danault was there and Danault was the one penalized last time in the second period. But yeah, they just did a great job being aggressive. Any chance they had to recoup the puck, they did. Cleared the puck out. Jake Evans made a really nice play, swatting a pass down with his stick, which allowed, I think it was Jeff Petrie. Yeah, it was Jeff Petrie. A really nice chance to clear it. And yeah, just a much, much better job on the PK. But then Drouin coming out of the box turns the puck over. So again, he did have the assist on the Suzuki goal on the power play, but Drouin has to be better at 5-on-5. And I think he had maybe one more shift after that. Another thing I want to mention is Eric Stahl. Do I mention Eric Stahl right now? Drouin. Also, one more thing with Drouin. He did make a really nice play defensively on Galchenyuk, but by the skin of his teeth, where Galchenyuk got open back door, and he got a really nice pass, but Drouin got a stick in the right position at the last second to take that chance away from Galchenyuk. So at least Drouin did that really well tonight. And then, of course, the Leafs, I don't know what they were thinking when they pulled Jack Campbell with 2 minutes and a half left in a 1-goal game. I find a lot of teams are pulling goalies a lot earlier to get that 6th man out. But when it's a 1-goal game and there's 2 minutes and a half remaining and you don't have possession of the puck, I don't know what Sheldon Keefe and the Leafs were thinking by pulling Jack Campbell at that time, but it basically gave Tatar and Danault and Byron a layup for the empty net goal. And then it wasn't over at that point yet because, like I said, there was still time. Maybe that's why, because they figured, hey, we're going to try to score now. And if worst case we get scored on, there's still 2 minutes and a half remaining to get 2 goals, which they came close to. And then the Habs played Ring Around the Rosie with the icings every 30 seconds at the end there. So that was, which was honestly, and again, if you don't have a play to get it out, if you don't have a clear play to get it out, like Eric Stahl in the second period, just ice the puck. Ice the puck. Because if you ice the puck enough times, like in the third period, you're going to rig the system. Sure, the 5 guys have to stay on the ice, but you know what? Don't chase after the puck. Don't tie yourselves chasing after the puck, but just keep icing it, winning the faceoff, icing it, winning the faceoff, icing it, winning the faceoff, icing it, and just keep the other team out of sync. And it just kills time. And that's how the Habs just bled the game away. And I really, really enjoyed that. So just a couple of little other things here. By the way, as usual, leave a comment on what your favorite part of the game tonight was. I might have closed the comment section by accident, at least in the live stream here. But either way, if you're watching this after the game or after the fact, leave a comment on what your favorite part of the game was and who played, what you thought of the Danault, Tatar, and Byron line, or just what you loved about this win against the Leafs. And but yeah, what I found is Eric Staal. Unfortunately, I mean, look, I liked Eric Staal on the fourth line tonight. I think that's his role, what he's best suited for right now. I did also really like the way that Ducharme used his centers in terms of ice time. Because look at this. This is something that happened like you don't see very often. You had Danault leading the way at 18 minutes, 32 seconds. You had Kotkaniemi played a lot at 14:34. I thought he was going to play a little bit more. But through two periods, the usage of the four centers for ice time was pretty much even. I think it was 8 minutes for Eric Staal and like 10 minutes for each of Danault, Tatar, and Suzuki. Sorry, Danault, Kotkaniemi, and Suzuki. But the way they finished, Suzuki only had 13 minutes, 44 seconds of ice time, which I think is well deserved that he didn't have that much ice time because he's been the one struggling between Kotkaniemi and Danault right now. Like I said, Danault played a phenomenal game, 18 minutes and a half. And Kotkaniemi was really good in the 14 minutes and a half that he played. And Eric Staal was what he was in the 12 minutes that he played tonight. So, and unfortunately he's a minus player right now. I mean, he was a minus player in Buffalo, of course, because that was Buffalo. But what's a little bit not great right now is that he's a minus player as a Montreal Canadien right now as well. And like every single game, it seems like Eric Staal is on the ice for a goal against, which has to be better. But at least he's on the fourth line right now, not, being used in the top 6 or the top 9. So at least that's the good side. What else do I want to mention? Yeah, faceoffs were an issue tonight. That wasn't very good. The Habs have been better at faceoffs recently, but the Leafs were at 51% of the game. At one point, it was like 57%. So at least the Habs got some, mostly because of Danault late in the game. They're winning big faceoffs and icing the puck every time. So the Habs even that out a little bit late, but the faceoffs weren't as ideal today. And the defensemen, I actually like the way the defensemen played tonight. Weber had a couple of Weber moments where Kotkaniemi had to bail him out in the first period, where Weber just made a blind backhand pass to no one. At least Kotkaniemi was supporting him well. And I think there was another play where Weber kind of turned it over, but Suzuki supported him well. And Weber and Edmonds, and was Edmondson or it was Weber and Kulak that were on the ice for the goal against by Matthews. But overall, I did like the way the defensemen played. They didn't get caught in their zone too much. Even Xavier Ouellet, who drew in for Otto Leskinen and Victor Mete, who obviously went on waivers earlier today. Where's his ice time? Ouellet played 12 minutes and 28 seconds. So he was mistake-free in those 12 minutes. And Romanov, 16 minutes and 8 seconds, pretty well. So I like the way the defense played. I like how you have Weber and I like Kulak and Weber for now. I like Petrie and Edmondson. Love how they're back together. And I also really like, and I think look, on the third pairing with who the Habs acquired and John Merrill and Eric Gustafsson at the trade deadline. At this point, here's what I'll leave as my final thought, is that the Habs have to load manage their defensemen. They have to. You can't have Edmondson, by the way, I want to mention this. I noticed this, 26 minutes of ice time for Joel Edmondson tonight. 26 minutes. And Jeff Petrie, 25 minutes, and Weber was 21 minutes. So I'd say those are pretty decent numbers. If you're going to give the heavier minutes, give them to Petrie and Edmondson. And I like that. But here's the thing. If you're going to play 4 games a week from here until the end of the season, which they're going to, you got to be able to now load manage some of these defensemen. You have depth, you have bodies. Maybe not so much depth. I mean, yeah, you have depth, but you don't have, like, you're still missing, I guess, that Ekholm type of guy, which would have been nice with Weber. But what you have now is better than what you had before the trade deadline, and especially with Ben Sherratt eventually coming back. So all this to say is that the Habs have to, as much as Petrie or Weber or even Edmondson will hate to hear it, but they have to sit every now and then for every third or every fourth game. 1 game a week, sit Weber, another game maybe sit Petrie, another game sit Edmondson, and rotate like that. The same way that the Toronto Raptors did with Kawhi Leonard, the same way Peter Laviolette has been known to do. I think it was with Nashville where you used to load manage players. But at this point, just win your games against the Calgary Flames. But they even got worse. They traded away David Riddick and they traded away Sam Bennett. So they sold at the deadline. So it doesn't look like they're interested in making too much of a playoff run here. But the bottom line is, again, load manage these defensemen. Give them the opportunity to be at their best come playoff time. And with this schedule, with Edmondson and Petrie playing 25, 26 minutes a game and Weber playing 20 plus minutes a game, it's going to get to them come playoff time. So load manage them, lighten their minutes a little bit, have them sit a couple of games here and there, put Merrill in the top 4 every now and then, even put maybe not Eric Gustafsson. He's been struggling this year, but he has been good in the past with Chicago. But let them draw in every now and then. Maybe even give Romanov a spot on the second pairing every now and then. Maybe even call up Kill Fleury every now and then. Just, you got to load manage these defensemen, because when they're fresh, when they're healthy and fresh, we see how well that they can play. Like in the bubble last year, even in the 2-3 games after the COVID break, Weber was a lot better. Edmondson was a lot better. Petrie was a lot better. And Kulak was a lot better. And then once they started playing a lot of games against really tough opponents, multiple games in a row, they started struggling. So load manage the defense, keep up what they're doing on offense. And also one more thing, obviously call up Cole Caulfield. Call up Cole Caulfield at the latest between the 10-day gap or the 11-day gap the Laval Rocket have between April 19 and April 29. And that's all we got here on this Langer at the Mike Habs post-game show. Once again, Habs beat the Leafs, and that is always fun. That is always awesome. Even if it's on a Monday night and it feels weird, always got to celebrate a win against the Leafs. And as usual, give me a big thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed my commentary, and give me a subscribe to my channel here. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike Langer. And this has been a Langer at the Mike post-game show, Langer at the Mike Habs post-game show. And thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again next time.